Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Beautiful day in the Low Country, and I hope it is wherever you are today watching us from, or if you're watching later on, praise the Lord. Thank you for tuning in with us. And if you notice, Rebecca's not here today. Instead, we
Got the replacement.
Have Rebecca's number one son who is here today. The brains of the outfit. This is Mr. Drew.
Hello.
And he's my oldest grandson, 21.
Yep.
21. Recently, 21.
Yeah.
And he goes to Azusa Pacific.
I have the shirt on today by coincidence, but
yeah, look at
yeah,
that.
Azusa Pacific University.
And that's out there not far from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in Bluffton. Why did you go across the country? You know, a lot of people here think California is off the edge of the earth. You're just
Right.
It's crazy out there. Why'd you choose to go there?
I think a lot of things, but I kind of just wanted to see what else was in the world, I guess. So my decision to go to school was pretty much I wanted to go to California and Christian school in SoCal, and ended up at APU. My mom found APU actually, so she'll probably take credit for that. But yeah,
SoCal means
Southern California. Sorry, yeah.
We're in South Carolina now.
Yeah.
You got to translate some of
You're
this
right,
in
you're
here.
right.
You know, you didn't. You could have watched the National Geographic Channel and you didn't have to move there.
True. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've always just been kind of a do whatever. I don't really stress about things as much as maybe I should sometimes. But yeah, I just kind of did it. And thinking back on it, I kind of tell my friends I kind of had no brain activity when I was deciding on colleges, which is true because I don't even remember thinking about it that hard. I think it was kind of just I kind of just wanted to do it, so I did it. But it was definitely God that moved me to APU.
Has it been a good move for you?
Definitely. APU is probably the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
It was
That's high praise there. Now.
Mm-hmm. It made me a way different person, and I'm super thankful
so
for
how
APU.
You said it makes you a way different person. How are you so different? I mean, to be able to say that about yourself. What does that mean to you that you're a way different person?
I think one of the biggest things was the community at APU kind of led me towards, I guess, being closer to God. In my middle school, high school, it was, I went to a Christian school, but it was just kind of Christian by name only, to be honest. But at APU, it was also the first time I've ever kind of gone through stuff that's hard. And so in those kind of moments, it's am I going to turn to God or not? It's kind of that moment. And so I guess I decided to turn towards God in that moment. And so all that credit is to APU, I think, because my community and the school kind of just led me towards Christ when I was not doing well. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. And also just the community at APU is really cool. It's a super small school. It has we have probably 2,000 undergraduate students, maybe less than that now. But it's small enough where I'll never know everybody, it's big enough that I'll never know everybody, but it's small enough that when I walk around campus, I'll see people that I know, which is super nice.
So you don't feel anonymous like you might in a 30,000.
Right. No, definitely not. It's super nice to feel like when I go to chapel that people know me, when I'm walking around that there's people that I know. So that's super nice as opposed to a state school that's super big and never know anybody. So
now you're studying what, Drew?
I'm studying teaching. So
and
it's a family line.
What's the goal in that? And when you went, you said, I want to study education. What did you have in mind that you were going to do with that?
Mm-hmm. Not much, to be honest. I've never really known what I wanted to do, and teaching was the one thing that felt like I could do in terms of college majors and careers and stuff. It's also a family thing. I mean, you and my mom were both teachers for a while, so I think that kind of ran down the line a little bit. And I really enjoy the mentorship aspect of teaching. That's what I've realized through my program and other stuff I've done at APU. So we'll see on that.
The mentorship being forming and shaping people's world outlook and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I find the most fun about teaching. Even when I'm working with the students during our service learning for our classes, where we only see them maybe 3 times, it's still really fun to meet the students, and just like little interactions can make their day and like change their outlook on people. So that's what I really like.
Now, you just finished your junior year, and this summer you're going to Korea, right?
Yeah.
What is that about? Is that a part of your curriculum at APU?
So it's not. We have kind of a pretty big program at APU that does international mission trips and national mission trips as well. It's not part of our classes or anything. It's kind of a extracurricular, but it's like a pretty big thing on campus. Last year I went to Cairo, Egypt, which was really cool. That was kind of a last minute thing because I got into even signing up for mission trips in the first place because I wanted to go to South Korea, and that was last year. So I signed up to only interview for one team, and it was South Korea because that's where I wanted to go. But then kind of last minute, I kind of had a crazy, God was sending a ton of coincidences and signs, I guess, about Egypt, which was super random because I'd never thought about going to Egypt ever. And so the day before interviews, I went into the office and signed up to interview for Egypt, and that's where I ended up. But God still had a plan for me to go to Korea.
It was a mission trip. So you're going there. It's not sightseeing or something. You're going there. There's probably a little bit of sightseeing, but you're going there to do what?
Yeah. So in Egypt last year, we went to work with the Sudanese refugees and just Egyptian kids. It was also the first time that APU had done a trip to Egypt. So we were also kind of just testing it out and seeing, because the school kind of connects us to hosts in the country. And so since we'd never been there before, we kind of had to figure out what the hosts wanted to do and kind of what the vibe was. So we did some sightseeing. Obviously, it's Egypt, but we worked with the Sudanese refugees who left their country because Sudan is south of Egypt. So they left their country because Sudan's in a civil war, and they kind of sought asylum in Egypt. And so there's a lot of Sudanese communities in Cairo who are pretty poor and need help. And so that was a super
Did they
interesting
speak
experience.
Egyptian, or they speak a different language?
So they speak mostly Arabic in Egypt and a little bit of English, but not too much. Mostly
How did you
Arabic.
communicate?
Yeah, we had a couple hosts with us. So there was one guy. So we had a team of 4 from APU. It was me and 3 guys I would go to school with. And then when we got to Egypt, the company kind of set us up with this guy who was going to be our host, pretty much. And he was this college kid from Egypt. So he was
Your age?
He was our age, and he lived in Egypt, and this was kind of his part-time job, was kind of doing these trips for people. And we say after we went to the trip that he was one of the main reasons why we went. His name was Bishoy. He was incredible. He kind of showed us so much about what servant leadership is, and the way he loved Jesus was super interesting for me.
Now, are you going to work with the Sudanese people to introduce them to Jesus, or you're going there to serve people who are in dire need?
Mostly serving people in need, because it's also illegal to evangelize any religion in Egypt. So we could kind of try a little bit, but it was mostly there to help people in need. And then we also worked at a camp with Egyptian kids where the company is called Wellspring. They are a Christian company, but they can't say that. So all their camps were Christian values, but not directly teaching because they can't do it.
So that was last year, but now this year, July, you're going again.
Yes. So as I mentioned, I always wanted to go to South Korea. I've wanted to go since I was 14. I think it's been I don't know exactly why. I think part of it was I just found the culture super interesting. I also think part of it is just God's been pulling me towards there for a while. And so after last year, I was kind of okay, am I ever going to go? Was that God telling me no? But I guess it was actually just a not right now. So through a lot of coincidences and crazy stuff last minute, I am going to South Korea this summer, which I'm super excited about. We're going to be teaching English to kids in churches. So kind of a VBS style thing, but it's much more academic, because I heard a quote that the natural resource in Korea is education, not an actual natural resource.
Really?
Because education is so important in Korea, and especially knowing English. So Korean kids are like, they go to school normal hours, and then I've heard they do like 4 hours after school of just English. So knowing English is a super big deal there.
Is that because they're planning to move to the United States, or why is English so big?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a few things. I think it's just like in general, just an important language to know. But also our host told us a super cool fact I was telling Sue earlier, that Korea is either the first or second largest missionary sending nation in the world. And so,
Really?
Yeah. And so
And you're going there as missionary.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's kind of the funny part. But that was kind of ironic to me too. But the way we can help is by teaching English, because they were talking about how translating into lesser known languages from Korean is really hard, and there's not that many resources for that. But obviously there's a lot more resources for English to other languages. So they were talking about how for the churches, they were doing this so that their kids in the church who maybe are going to be missionaries, so that they can know English. So that's kind of how we're also serving in a direct, like, kingdom building way, is that, you know, these missionaries and knowing English is super important. And so that's how we're helping with that. So we're going to be working with 3 different churches in South Korea. And one of the coolest parts of the trip is that for 2 weeks, we're going to be staying in the homes of some members of the churches. So that'll be super cool.
Now, have you taken any Korean language stuff to kind of prepare yourself to go live in people's homes? Mm-hmm. Are they all going to speak English, or you got to, as part of it, learn Korean language or something?
Mm-hmm. So I think part of it, from what I've heard about the trip, is that Korean people have a very varying amount of how much they know English. So the kids actually know a lot more than the older people, because English education has gotten a lot more implemented. So the Korean kids know like a good amount of English. They just really need people to practice with. But the older people kind of don't know English as well. So we're going to be doing a little bit of both. I have taken a Korean language class 4 years ago during COVID.
4 years. Oh.
Yeah. So
you remember any of it?
Don't remember too much. But there was a South Korean lady at the airport yesterday who said thanks, and I knew it. So
you'll just grin your way through it.
Exactly.
That's what you do. Just grin your way through it.
Mm-hmm. In Egypt last year, we learned like probably 5 Arabic words, and that's all we knew. But that was all we needed to know.
A smile will take care of the rest of it.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm super excited to go to Korea, and yeah.
South Korea.
South Korea. Yes. Sorry. Sometimes I say Korea and people think
Are you going to be
North,
close to the border between the two?
So we're going to be in Seoul, which is the major city, and it's fairly close to the DMZ, but not like super close, but it's more north than, yes.
Wow. You excited about it?
I'm very excited about it.
Very
and
excited.
People who know me know that I don't get like super visibly excited about things.
Why more excited about this than Egypt?
I think it's because I've been like wanting to go / called to go to South Korea for so long that it's kind of a like, okay, I finally get to do it kind of thing, which is really cool. And I love my team as well, the people we're going with. So it's going to be a good time.
So these are not the people you went to Egypt with last year necessarily.
No, different people, completely different people. So,
but students.
Mm-hmm, all students as well.
And will this be a bigger group?
It is. This year we have 8 people, including me, and it's also co-ed. Last year my trip to Egypt, just by coincidence, was all guys, which was super interesting, because APU is like 8-to-1 female to male ratio.
Really?
So an all-male team was like a rarity, but yeah, this year we're...
How does it happen to be that?
3 and 5.
That seems lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
How does it happen to be 8-to-1? Gracious. I mean, you wouldn't think you'd find that in any university.
Right. I'm not sure. I think part of it is what I was telling you earlier, kind of how much nursing is part of our campus. I think like around half of the students at APU are nursing students. And a good percentage of nursing students are female. So that's definitely part of it. But I'm not really sure.
So tell me about this big event that happened this year in school. Kind of turned your life around. What was that about?
Which one? Oh,
MR.
the recent one?
Yeah, the recent one.
I mean,
Malia Rose.
I have a girlfriend now, which is great. First time. That's been a
Now, I don't,
interesting thing.
8 to 1,
Right.
and you found one in the 8?
I did. I found her. It took a lot of effort, but yeah. So that's been great. We got set up by our roommates, which is kind of a fun story, but she's the best. She's such
So
a
what?
blessing.
Tell me about the fun story. What happened with that?
So speaking of mission trips, my roommate was leading a mission trip to Guatemala, and his
Y'all
co-lead.
go all over the world with those mission
Yes,
trips.
sir. We have I think 20-something trips going this summer. So it's a pretty big operation.
But it's not part of your curriculum. It's just
No.
So everybody that's doing this is just extracurricular. They're serious about mission work.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I interrupted. Go on.
No, you're good. So my roommate was leading the trip to Guatemala, and he got a co-lead who was a girl. And my roommate, he always has been interested in setting me up with people because it's just interesting for him. He's like, oh, what do you think about this person? I'm always like,
So
no, I'm
are
good.
Are you a mission project for him? He says, oh, Drew needs some help here.
I think
try to
so.
Help him out here.
I think so.
Charity case. Yep.
I've always been like, no, I'm good, But this time, he was onto something. And
But
so,
you didn't know that.
No, but
Because this is a blind date, really, isn't it? When your first time?
well, it would have been, but we have Instagram now. So he showed me a picture on Instagram. He was like, what do you think? And I was like, you know what, bro? You might be onto something. And so,
Just from the picture?
yes, hey,
But these days on social media, the picture you see might not be the
hey,
person.
you can't always trust it, but we did our due diligence.
Oh.
And yeah, we met in person. It was great. So, yeah. And my roommate and the girl who worked on setting us up, they are currently dating as well. So, all worked out for everybody.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
And she's not studying to be a teacher. She's going to be a nursing.
Yes. So she's studying to be a nursing student. She's much smarter than me. I help her study, and I'm just mind blown by it. Yeah. So she's studying for nursing, and super proud of her for finishing her sophomore year, because she had a really tough semester this year with the hardest nursing class and microbiology, which I don't know anything about microbiology, but I try my best. And yeah, so.
I married a young man and a young lady who grew up in the parish, got married. He is studying, he's getting his PhD at Georgia Tech in genetic engineering.
Wow.
I didn't even know there was such a thing
No.
as that. At Georgia Tech, I'm thinking electricity, mechanical engineering, genetic engineering. So he would know microbiology as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about that. I'm not a STEM
All right,
major.
so she comes from,
Hawaii. Yeah, she's from the Big Island, Hawaii.
so have you talked to APU about putting together a mission trip to Hawaii?
They actually had one to Maui.
Did they
this
really?
Christmas. Maybe I should have gone, but yeah, she's from.
Maui's where they had the fires, isn't it?
Yes, sir. That's why they had a trip there. It wasn't all vacation. They had Maui's in a lot of need right now, so it seemed like a great opportunity. And
That place, the things you saw on television, that was terrible.
yeah, that was pretty serious.
Now that's on a different island. She's on the big island of Hawaii.
Yeah, they
right?
call it Big Island. It's official name is Hawaii. So it's obviously the biggest island from what I know.
Got to be some indigenous people there that need missionaries.
Hey, there's gotta be.
You could go and scout it out.
Come on, I
Just
can
be
pick
in
up
the
another-
area.
I can pick up another trip right now.
There you go. You
Yeah.
could work it in, couldn't you?
Yes, sir. Come on.
Well, how is it, Nick, to be that far away from home? Have you found that hard? It seemed like that'd be a big adjustment because you were kind of a home person. You had never been that far away.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. I think it's been helpful that my parents are very supportive of my sister and I kind of going to do our own thing. That's been really helpful. I definitely miss Nanny's cooking sometimes.
And you know what?
What?
Speaking of Nanny's cooking, I always like it when you come. Because when you come, Nanny makes cookies.
Oh, yeah.
He put one in my lunchbox today. I knew Drew must be in the area because she keeps me on short rations, So.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You're blessed and highly favored today.
But I'm going to give that to you.
Wow.
I don't want you to fall off.
Wow. Thank you.
You need all your strength for the mission trip. And how are you and Malia? Y'all writing letters now, or is this FaceTime or?
A lot of FaceTime, a lot of
texting?
texting. I might get on the letters soon. It's a family thing. You like writing letters, so I think I can pick that up. But
I saw a sample of her handwriting. It was amazing.
it is incredible. Yeah, it is. My handwriting, for context, is horrible. It's even like when I was working with students this semester, like the kindergartners were making fun of my handwriting.
That's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, that was tough.
Cold.
That was a rude awakening.
To make fun of it.
Yeah, that was tough. But her handwriting is like both Papa and my dad both said, like, is that like a computer or something? Like, it is pristine. So much better handwriting than I'm very blessed.
So you like the FaceTiming better than texting and writing letters and stuff? It seems like that'd be much more personal.
It definitely is. It's really helpful. It's also just like, you can just have it up on your phone while you're doing other stuff. So it's kind of like being with each other in a way. Yeah, FaceTime is super nice, but I love writing a letter, so I might get on that.
Yeah, I hope so. Do you do Snapchat and TikTok, and do you do all those kind of things?
A little bit. I never got into TikTok. I don't know. At this point, I haven't downloaded it like 3 years in, so I think I'm kind of committed to not doing it. But Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of stuff, yeah.
How about in your college courses and all that? Is there a lot of social media involved in that?
For sure. Mm-hmm. It's also been, with all the technology coming into education, like AI and stuff, it's been interesting kind of learning about that with our professors, because our professors don't know that much about AI as well. So that's been interesting to learn about.
That's going to change the way you teach and all kind of stuff in it.
For sure. One of the coolest things that our teacher showed us was there's a AI software called Magic School, that you can type in 4th grade science lesson with the standard of like rocks or something, and it'll pull up a whole lesson plan with activities, questions. Yeah, that was crazy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And like quick. So that's been cool.
The world's changing up.
It is.
It's untold what it's going to be like when you're my age.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a world.
Right.
Jesus
true.
might come again.
Hey, can't speak too soon.
Come, Lord Jesus, come. Whoa.
Day by day.
Whoa. So what would you like the world out there of Ponderings to know about a young person going? Because you're 3 years into it now. Next year you'll be a senior.
Mm-hmm. Just young people in general?
No, what would you like the young people in general are not watching this.
Oh. I know, don't worry.
They're not watching this. What would you like the older folks? I mean, college has changed a lot.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think college kids get a pretty bad rap nowadays. We're not that bad. I think also one thing is there's definitely some sort of revival or return to faith in the Gen Z generation. We even had a revival on our campus last year, which was crazy. We had overnight worship nights, a lot of people like coming to Christ, testimonials. It was wild.
When that's at your school, would it be, you're not far from UCLA, and are they having a revival there too?
I didn't hear about that, but I definitely heard about, maybe it's University of Alabama, something like that. But yeah, it was right after the Asbury revival happened as well last year. Super close timing. But
Charlie went up there for that.
Yeah, he did. And yeah, so there's definitely a revival and return to faith in the Gen Z generation. So don't count us out. Gen Z definitely gets a bad rap, but let us grow a little bit.
That revival you're referring to at University of Alabama, that was a football pep rally. That was not a real football. That was spring practice.
Yeah. Hey, it was the NIL transfer portal.
Oh, golly day.
It was the Nick Saban's retirement.
What about all that's going on with the NIL and all that? Has that changed the way college students look at sports?
I think, well, one thing is APU doesn't have we have sports. We're D2, but we're really good. So our women's track and field are like national champs.
Wow.
So if we have a sport, we're good. But unfortunately, we don't have football. So, and we also don't have NIL because we're not D1. But from what I've gathered, it's definitely changed a lot. I mean, I think Nick Saban's retirement for me was very much like things are really changing, because part of the reason why he retired, from what I gathered, is that like NIL stuff and how it changed.
Oh yeah, he said it wasn't college athletics anymore.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like college either. It feels much more like the pros, but even more extreme because there's no contracts. So they just get money without having to really commit, which it's good that they get paid for their work, obviously, but definitely changes the sport a lot.
Mm-hmm. But they don't have that. Division II doesn't have that?
From what I know of, no. I think we just have scholarships. But hey, APU, we do have an APU alumni who is an NFL head coach. The Carolina Panthers head coach, I forget his first name, but his last name is Canales. He's an APU alumni. And his brother is our dean of students.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know baseball.
Well, where did he play? He was a football player, but he didn't play at APU?
Well, we had a football program.
Back then.
We canceled it like 5-6 years ago, right before COVID. But yeah, so he's a NFL football alum.
They looked up and saw Drew is coming. We got to get serious here. We got to do away with this football stuff. Get with it.
Also, I don't know baseball, but I think the Cleveland Guardians, is that a team? That's a team? Okay. I'm pretty sure their GM is an APU alumni as well. So, hey, don't count us out in sports. No. What is your favorite sport? Is women's track and field one that do people go and watch it? We have really big track events. A lot of people come for track at APU. I think the events people like to go watch the most are basketball and acro and tumbling, because our acro and tumbling team is D1.
What does that mean, acro? It's
basically like gymnastics, from what I have observed. But we're D1, so we play like Oregon and like big schools like that. So that's cool.
So you're Division I in some things and Division II in other things?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure acro is the only sport that we're D1. I don't know how that works, but we are D1 in acro and D2 and everything else. But yeah, if we have a sport, we're pretty good at it, from what I've gathered.
So what hobbies do you have, extracurricular kind of things? I know you do mentoring stuff. And what are you in extracurricular activities other than your leadership programs?
Mm-hmm. Most of the extracurricular stuff at APU is leadership programs. We also have intramural sports, which we can go watch intramural sports sometimes. And just a lot of like hanging out with friends. I think one of the biggest things about APU is that because our campus is very walkable, if you go anywhere, you'll see somebody you know, and then you can just like go hang out, and that's super nice. But yeah, mostly like just leadership positions and hanging out with friends.
Well, now that you got the nurse in the picture there, will that disconnect you some from the APU student body and hanging out with people and all that? You talked about going to study with her and all that. Well, that's time with somebody else that's not about with your collegiality, with your buddies and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'll sacrifice that time to be with her. It's okay.
Oh, I'll take the sword.
Yeah, definitely. But we also just like find time to hang out with our other friends as well. Like chapel at APU is a very big, like, everyone goes to chapel. So you can see a lot of people that you know at chapel, and that's really nice. And
you have chapel once a week or twice a week or what?
They changed it this year. We had to go to 28 chapels in a semester, and there's chapel offerings 4 times a week. We have Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning, and Thursday night. Thursday night's the best, so everyone goes to Thursday night.
Why is it the best?
Well, first of all, I think nighttime is just way better for college students than morning, because 10:30 is early for us, so we kind of can't really get into it at 10:30 versus
So what time
8 p.m.
what time do you get up in the morning usually?
I usually get up at like 10.
Seriously?
Yeah.
When do you go to class?
Well, I don't have early classes last semester.
But you set your own class schedule?
Kinda. We get to pick what classes we take, but the class schedule, like the time the classes are at, is pretty solidified. But last semester, all my classes started at 12:50, so I was sleeping.
And so what time do you go to bed at night then?
Depends. Maybe between 11 to 1-ish.
So you stay up and watch Johnny Carson and stuff like that?
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Well, that's right. Johnny Carson isn't on anymore, is he?
I've never heard of that person ever, respectfully, yeah.
Must not be, because you don't know who he is.
Must not be.
There's something's going on out there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so you're glad to be home?
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be home. I'm here until I go to South Korea, so I'm here for 2 months, which is just about right amount of time, I think. Respectfully.
That's right. I don't really need too much now.
Yeah.
Don't take the edge off.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to eat some good food.
Amen.
Yeah, I got you. For the next 2 months, you're going to be eating good as well.
Yeah, praise God. Mm-hmm. Praise God. That looks like, have you got a new chain on up there?
I've had it for a while, but
it's shiny.
Have you seen it before?
Oh, what is that?
It is the creation painting.
Oh, yeah.
With the hands. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have that painting?
I don't, but got it right here.
Would you like to have that painting?
Sure. Are you giving out paintings?
I have a painting of that, copied from the Sistine Chapel, right behind my desk.
Really?
Seriously.
Wow. This guy. Always got something.
What can I say?
Hey.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, son.
Thank you.
I really am very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. All right, proud of y'all too. Thank you for watching. Don't forget the food bank. Golly, they 300 and something people gave out over 2 tons of food on Monday. That's amazing, amazing. You get to help with the food bank. You've done that before.
For sure.
And God's goods.
Monday mornings, I'm there.
Yeah, and that's just a powerful, powerful ministry. And they're looking for canned corn. I remember seeing that on the thing, canned corn and chunky soup. That's another one. So if you got time, bring it when you come to chapel or to any of the campuses, drop it off there, and folks will pick it up and get it out there to the people who need it. And just remember, be faithful in your prayers, be faithful in worship, be faithful in serving somebody else, and be faithful in studying the Scriptures. In all that we do, know that God loves you, and I love you as well. Blessings to you.
See ya.
See ya.